Welcome to a battlefield of minds. Two grandmasters face off where every move cuts like a sword, one mistake, and it's over. This isn't just chess, it's war disguised as strategy. Let's dive in, move by move, into this epic clash. Wesley So opens with nf3, calmly developing the knight, staking flexible central intentions, while testing Jairam Ashwin's early defensive setup. Jairam Ashwin replies nf6, mirror development, guarding central squares and signaling readiness for a solid, adaptable middle-game battle. Wesley So plays g3, fianchetto intentions clear, preparing long-term kingside pressure and a strategic grip on dark squares. Jairam Ashwin answers b6, preparing his own bishop fianchetto, a quiet move hinting at a double-edged positional duel. Wesley So advances c4, grabbing queenside space, challenging the center early, and setting the tone for strategic tension. Jairam Ashwin strikes back with c5, immediately contesting central control and refusing to let Wesley So build freely. Wesley So develops bg2, completing the fianchetto, his bishop now slicing along the long diagonal with latent attacking promise. Jairam Ashwin mirrors with b7, activating his bishop to oppose Wesley So's structure and eyes central light squares. Wesley So castles o, securing king safety early and smoothly, connecting rooks for future central operation. Jairam Ashwin plays g6, reinforcing dark squares and preparing a kingside fianchetto to balance the position. Wesley So develops nc3, adding central support and increasing pressure on d5 and e4 squares. Jairam Ashwin responds bg7, completing development harmoniously and pointing the bishop toward Wesley So's central ambitions. Wesley So pushes d4, boldly challenging the center and escalating the strategic confrontation into open conflict. Jairam Ashwin captures cxd4, opening lines immediately and testing Wesley So's readiness for early tactical clarity. Wesley So recaptures qxd4, centralizing the queen confidently, accepting activity over safety to keep initiative alive. Jairam Ashwin develops n6, hitting the queen with tempo and reinforcing central control with precise development. Wesley So retreats q4, maintaining central influence while sidestepping danger and keeping pressure on key dark squares. Jairam Ashwin plays bait, an unusual queen retreat, quietly supporting queenside structure and avoiding early queen trades. Wesley So places Ardon, lining the rook with the queen and asserting firm control over the central file. Jairam Ashwin exchanges with qesh4, forcing simplification and testing Wesley So's bishop coordination early. Wesley So answers bx4, recapturing cleanly, improving piece activity, and maintaining a slight developmental edge. Jairam Ashwin retreats n8, a cautious regrouping move, preparing rerouting while temporarily cramping his own pieces. Wesley So plays Rakon, activating the rook aggressively and reinforcing pressure along the c-file. Jairam Ashwin jumps n6, centralizing the knight and challenging Wesley So's bishops with tactical flexibility. Wesley So develops b3, solidifying central control and calmly parrying potential knight jumps. Jairam Ashwin lungers Nga4, an aggressive knight thrust, probing weaknesses and threatening tactical tricks near e3. Wesley So calmly retreats bd2, diffusing threats and keeping his structure intact without conceding momentum. Jairam Ashwin plays r8, fully contesting the c-file and bracing for heavy piece confrontation. Wesley So advances b3, reinforcing c4 and preparing long-term queenside stability. Jairam Ashwin replies d6, solidifying the center and preparing to unlock his dark-squared bishop later. Wesley So jumps nd5, a powerful outpost, attacking central weaknesses and cranking up positional pressure. Jairam Ashwin answers nf6, challenging the knight and trying to reduce Wesley So's central dominance. Wesley So plays bc3, reinforcing the nd5 knight and sharpening pressure toward g7. Jairam Ashwin captures nxd5, relieving tension but conceding bishop pair dynamics and structural considerations. Wesley So responds bxx7, snapping the bishop, damaging kingside coordination and gaining concrete material. Jairam Ashwin recaptures nxg7, restoring material balance but slightly misplacing the knight defensively. Wesley So strikes cx5, opening the center decisively and transforming structural advantages into dynamic play. Jairam Ashwin steps kd7, centralizing the king early, a bold but risky middle-game decision. Wesley So jumps n5, launching kingside threats and immediately eyeing sensitive f7 and Essex squares. Jairam Ashwin plays f6, bluntly chasing the knight, creating weaknesses but halting immediate tactical threats. Wesley So plays bh3, the bishop delivers a sharp check, forcing Jairam Ashwin to react under immediate tactical pressure. Jairam Ashwin responds 5, blocking the check urgently, but weakening dark squares and locking his structure into long-term risk. Wesley So strikes e4, detonating the center decisively, opening lines to exploit black's compromised pawn formation. Jairam Ashwin answers h6, creating luft and preventing jumps, yet conceding further kingside weaknesses. Wesley So retreats nf3, calmly resetting the knight while keeping central control and future kingside pressure. Jairam Ashwin captures rx Khon, exchanging rooks to reduce pressure and simplify the dangerous position. Wesley So recaptures rx Khon, maintaining material balance and keeping an active rook centralized. Jairam Ashwin plays r8, contesting the open files stubbornly and fighting for counterplay. Wesley So trades rx8, forcing simplification and dragging the king into the open. Jairam Ashwin recaptures kx8, centralizing the king but stepping into a hostile endgame battlefield. Wesley So jumps nh4, rerouting the knight aggressively toward weakened kingside squares. Jairam Ashwin retreats kadite, seeking safety but surrendering initiative completely. Wesley So captures nxg, winning a pawn and tearing open black's kingside structure. Jairam Ashwin responds fc4, counterattacking centrally in a last attempt to generate activity. Wesley So repositions nf4, targeting e6 and g6, tightening the noose around Black's king. Jairam Ashwin plays b8, retreating defensively and trying to hold fragile dark squares. Wesley So steps kg2u, improving king safety and preparing precise endgame technique. Jairam Ashwin pushes e5, striking back in the center before white fully consolidates. Wesley So captures dx6, opening files mercilessly and transforming pressure into a concrete advantage. Jairam Ashwin replies k7, walking into the center under dangerous circumstances. Wesley So jumps in d5, a powerful check that centralizes the knight and dominates key squares. Jairam Ashwin retreats k8, forced back under relentless pressure. Wesley So continues nf6, draining tempi and keeping the king under constant harassment. Jairam Ashwin moves k7, visibly struggling to escape the tightening net. Wesley So leaps on gate, a flashy maneuver highlighting total knight dominance. Jairam Ashwin retreats k8 again, trapped in an exhausting cycle. Wesley So returns nf6, calmly squeezing as Black's position suffocates. Jairam Ashwin answers k7, endurance fading with no relief in sight. Wesley So captures ning4, winning material cleanly and breaking Black's resistance. Jairam Ashwin recaptures nx6, restoring material but remaining strategically lost. Wesley So plays bxe6, exchanging decisively and stripping Black of defensive resources. Jairam Ashwin responds kx6, forced, leaving the king dangerously exposed. Wesley So advances kf3, activating the king aggressively for the endgame kill. Jairam Ashwin pushes d5, desperately seeking counterplay with central pawns. Wesley So maneuvers nc3, precise knight, repositioning to dominate critical squares. Jairam Ashwin advances k5, marching the king forward in a risky bid for activity. Wesley So repositions net2, restricting the king and preparing final domination. Jairam Ashwin pushes d4, a last attempt to create chaos and passed pawns. Wesley So plays n4, cutting off the king and extinguishing counterplay. Jairam Ashwin develops bf5, activating the bishop but far too late. Wesley So steps k2, perfect coordination signaling a technically winning endgame. Jairam Ashwin retreats b-bone, passive defense as the position suffocates. Wesley So plays a3, securing queenside space, limiting bishop activity, and calmly improving his position without allowing counterplay. Jairam Ashwin responds bc2, activating the bishop slightly, but still struggling to influence the critical central squares. Wesley So jumps on d3, delivering a precise check that forces the king backward and tightens positional control. Jairam Ashwin moves kf5, stepping forward under pressure, hoping king activity compensates for a worsening position. Wesley So advances b4, gaining space aggressively, fixing queenside weaknesses, and restricting Jairam Ashwin's king further. Jairam Ashwin replies K4, pushing the king centrally, a risky march driven by desperation rather than confidence. Wesley So strikes F3 Carrier, a cold, accurate check that shatters king's safety and exposes black's lack of coordination. Jairam Ashwin retreats Kd5, forced backward, losing momentum as white's grip becomes absolute. Wesley So plays Kd2, calmly taking opposition and demonstrating flawless endgame technique. Jairam Ashwin responds B4, a defensive bishop move that fails to stop white's advancing plan. Wesley So pushes G4, opening a new front and accelerating the collapse of black's remaining defenses. Jairam Ashwin retreats B8, passive and overloaded, with no real squares left to contest. Wesley So advances H4, fixing kingside pawns and preparing a decisive passed pawn. Jairam Ashwin steps Kc4, wandering helplessly as white's pawns begin to dominate the board. Wesley So jumps Nf5, a sharp check that freezes the king and seals the endgame advantage. Jairam Ashwin moves Kb3, escaping the check but conceding control of critical squares. Wesley So pushes E5, the passed pawn surges forward, signaling the approaching end. Jairam Ashwin captures Kxr3, grabbing material desperately while ignoring the decisive kingside threat. Wesley So advances G5, locking the structure and ensuring black cannot stop the H-pawn. Jairam Ashwin recaptures Hxc5, forced, but the position collapses completely. Wesley So pushes H6, the pawn decides the game instantly, and Jairam Ashwin resigns, 1-0 Tory. The video ends here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Thank you again, everyone. See you in the next video.